So you have two kids. But
Three.
three.
I have
Okay,
3 children.
three.
I have a daughter.
Okay.
Because when we did the thing on Facebook, my daughter called me. She said, "Mama, did you forget that you have a daughter?" I said, "I didn't write it. I didn't write it." No, I have 3 kids.
Okay.
I have 2 sons and my daughter.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 3 kids.
Yeah.
But you said you raised 10. So
Yes.
walk us through that story a little bit, how that all came about.
Well, I had my daughter and my 2 boys. Of course, Floyd is a public defender. Eric is a teacher. He's had a stroke, so he had to kind of sit down a little bit. And my daughter is a nurse.
Okay.
And she works up in Maryland, in Virginia, and she's a traveling nurse. And she used to work at the Pavilion here in Bluefield.
Okay.
And but I had some grandchildren that I watched, I took care of, and 2 other little girls that were friends. Their mothers were friends to my children,
Mm-hmm.
and then I got 2 little African kids, and I got the little African kids in the strangest kind of way. My granddaughter's name is Kamara, and I went to the pharmacy one day, and the pharmacist was there, and he was an African pharmacist with Rite Aid.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked me, he said, "Who is Miss Anderson?" And I said, "I am." He said, "But I see that you have a child named Kamara." I said, "That's her name." He asked me to take a seat. So I took a seat and sat there. And when everybody left, he came and sat down beside me, and he told me that God had sent me to him. And I said, "Why? You didn't say that." He said, "Because your granddaughter has the same name of a tribe in my town." I said, "Okay." I said, "Oh, really?" He said, "Yes." He said, "And I have a little daughter that somebody needs to watch her." I said, "Oh, okay." He said, "Would you watch her?" I said, "Sure, I will." He turned around and called this little girl by name, and she came from behind the thing in the pharmacy.
Wow.
And he set her between us, and he spoke to her in his language. He said, "She doesn't speak English." And he asked me, he said, "Well, I need you to take her home," because his wife was in exile. They had left her out of this country because her visa wasn't right, and she couldn't come back to this country.
Oh, my.
And when they were coming home about 3 weeks before that from Africa, she had to go back to Africa, and he had to bring his daughter on with him. They wouldn't let her go back to Africa.
Oh, my.
So there he was stuck.
Yeah.
So I said, "Yeah, I'll keep her." He handed her to me along with a Kroger bag full of clothes.
Okay.
And I took her home with me.
Mm-hmm.
She was 5 years old. My granddaughter was 5. And the other little girl that I was watching was 5. They were all 5 years old.
Oh, my.
And I brought her in the house, and I told them, I said, "She doesn't speak any English." But down the steps they went with this little girl, with Anta. They went down the steps with Anta. The next morning, I had to go to work.
Yeah.
And the other 2 girls were in kindergarten.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming that she was going to be in kindergarten, too.
Yeah, yeah.
So I took all 3 of them to work with me. But when she come out of the basement, she could say good morning.
Mm-hmm.
They taught her how to say good morning. So I took her and kept her that year. Along with her father, I had no clue where he lived, nothing.
Oh, my.
He didn't know nothing about me, and I ain't know nothing about him.
Did you ever see him after that much?
Yeah. One day I went back to the pharmacy, and I told him where I lived, and he told me where he lived up in Junior Polka. But I kept her
Yeah.
at my house.
How did you work, like, with the language barrier? How did you work through that?
I don't know. The children did that.
Wow, that's amazing.
And she learned to speak English. But in their country, they are taught English from birth. That's their second language. They speak,
Wow.
but it's very broken language.
Yeah.
But from birth, they speak a little. So
Mm-hmm.
she had a little idea, you know.
Wow.
And we worked through that. And she went to school at Kimball Elementary
Okay.
with my kids.
Mm-hmm.
And she was the 9th one.
Okay.
And but I just kept moving.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
didn't.
It didn't stop you.
I didn't stop. I mean,
Yeah.
I just had the kids, and I was working and cooking, and the children were playing, and they were happy,
Mm-hmm.
and the community had lots of children to play in, and they played together, and then he went home for Christmas, and when he came back, he brought his son with him. He was a little boy. He brought him. And he dropped him off with me, and I kept him. So I kept the children until their mother could come. And it took about 7 years for her to come.
Wow.
They went to school here. They went to high school at Mount View. They both graduated. My granddaughter graduated high school.
What did they end up doing
They
as a
went
career?
to West Virginia University. The
Okay.
girl, they did. My granddaughter went to West Virginia State.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So they ended up having a successful career
Yeah.
then. Wow.
They live in Atlanta,
Wow. That's
and
awesome.
I still see them, and I visit them. I went to Africa 9 years ago.
Okay.
I flew to Africa and visited in Gambia
Okay.
with the family, and we still talk. As a matter of fact, they used to live on Stewart Street.
Wow.
And
When
he
you
was a
talk about
pharmacist.
their family, not them specifically, but their family from Africa. Okay. Wow. That's amazing. How long did the father, is he still alive or did he
Yeah,
pass?
he's still alive.
Wow.
No, he's still alive. He retired from Walgreens 3 years ago, I think. He stayed with Rite Aid, and then they switched
Okay.
over to Walgreens.
Yeah.
And then he got transferred out to Mullins.
Okay.
And he worked at Mullins. And his mother, his wife, she was a hairdresser up to the mall. Catherine
Okay.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were involved in the community and went to the Catholic Church and
Wow.
everything. So it was a whole nother lifestyle. you
Wow.
know.
Yeah, I'm sure. Wow.
Yeah.
That's an amazing story.
Yeah.
And wow.
And I took her because of my granddaughter's name.
Yeah.
And it was just,
That's something.
and it just happened.
Yeah.
And it worked out.
Yeah.
You know.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Especially what was the little boy, was he able to speak much English too, or is it about the same?
Not a lot. He was about the same.
Okay.
And my mother was living at that time.
Okay.
And my mother fell in love with him, and he fell in love with her, and he loved French fries, and he learned to speak English, and they did well. But they did well in school, though.
Yeah.
They did
sure.
well in school.
Yeah.
It took them a minute with their language, but after a while they caught on, and they did well in school.